This is the OJ Today. Welcome, folks. I'm Alex Bastiavansky, joined by Mississauga Chargers head coach Joe Washcrack. First of all, thanks for being here and giving us your time. Joe is in here today because this is our last show of the year, but we are going out with a bang, as I mentioned last week. It's our playoff preview today. We're breaking down every series. Unfortunately, your loss is our gain because the Chargers got eliminated this year, but Joe's going to be in here to talk with us for this entire segment. And let's get right to it because this half hour is going to go really, really quick. We're going to start in the Northeast Conference because that is where the top team in the OJ was this year, and that'd be the Trenton Golden Hawks. And they're facing off against the Newmarket team that's going to be in tough. So it's 1 versus 8, Trenton versus Newmarket. Trenton won the season series 2-1-1. There was a tie in there back on October 30th. But, yeah, you know, Joe, it's Trenton all season long has been, I mean, top-ranked team in Canada in the top 5 anyway. Yep. Your impressions of Trenton this year?
They're a very good team. We just played them the once this year with their schedule, and we actually played them really tight 3-2. But, you know, Drome's got a real good team down there, and, you know, their goals against average, what is it, less than 2 a game?
It was the best in the league by far. I mean, they were 99 up until the last 2 games, and they ended up at 102. Yeah, but, I mean, wow.
Pretty impressive. Danny Urbani was going to Canisius last year, and they just got a lot of weapons. And Newmarket's a younger team, but they're definitely going to be in top.
They're going to be in tough. So in balanced scoring from these guys, you got your Danny Hamlin, your Hunter Fargy, Mitch Emerson. One quick thing, Liam Morgan, who was the leading scorer, and Adam Clemens, who was their #1 defenseman, both have been out for an extended period now. They're hoping to get them back, but I mean, really, they do have to hope to get those guys back.
Yeah, like Liam, I was fortunate to coach Liam in Cornwall, and the kid's a great player and a great kid and hasn't played. And Adam Clements is, you know, when you're missing 2 very good players, I still think they'll probably have enough to get by. But if they don't get them back in the next series or down the stretch, it may be difficult for them. Keys
to victory for them. Joe's keys to victory: keep up the strong defense, obviously, balanced scoring, and stay disciplined. Okay, we move on to Newmarket now. The 8th seed Newmarket, a great story this year. They were a really young team. Puncher did a great job with them.
Sure.
Your impression of Newmarket?
Yeah, Brent did a great job. You know, Dalton Ewing kind of took over the fold there when they got rid of one of their other goalies there. So Dalton did a great job. You know, they got Todd Winder from Aurora, Mark Rosenoff, I think from Aurora as well. So they're going to be in tough, but you know, young teams, if they can just take it, I say it a game at a time. You never know what can happen in playoffs right now.
Winder, real high talented player, some great highlight goals this year.
Very skilled.
Rosenoff, as you mentioned, the big Russian kid was great. Marco Bozzo, a player you know well and you really like.
Yeah, I do.
Keys to victory for Newmarket then. You said lots of shots. Get in front of Urbani. Be physical to try and take away Trenton's speed, and mentally, it sounds cliche, but just keep it 1 game at a time, right?
Exactly, Alex.
Okay, so let's move on now to the 2 seed against #7. That is the Markham Royals. What a great story they've been this year in their first season. Well, you know, since moving from Hamilton, but after the old Waxers team went belly up a few years ago, Hyman brings in, did a great job and brought in Markham this year, and what a great story. Going up against the #7 seed, Whitby. Markham won the season series 3-1-0. Whitby taking a game 3-0 back in September. Other than that, it was all Markham pretty significantly as well. Your impression of the Royals this year?
They beat us, a very good team. Micheletti did a great job there. They're just very balanced. Probably one of the most balanced teams that I've seen in a long time, and definitely maybe in the league. They score a lot of goals. They don't give up a lot, so they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, balance, like you said. So 197 goals scored, second most in the Northeast. And you want to talk about balance, they allowed 139 goals, which was the 3rd best in the Northeast. So you don't often get that kind of balance. And I mean, you see it from them, and weapons. A lot of weapons.
A lot of weapons
Tyson
up front.
Bruce, Mark Lozano, Aaron Spivak, right?
They're loaded.
Yeah.
They got a lot of speed, a lot of skill, and you know, Mike's done a good job. They're well coached too.
Yeah. One thing you might have a little bit concerned about is goalkeeping. Samayo, since Kalito's been out, you're not too sure about Samayo?
You know, Marcus played in Aurora last year, and you know, didn't play a lot. You know, he started off in Milton and really kept a lot of them in games, but just find him a little inconsistent a little bit sometimes. And playoffs are a different story. But if he plays well in the way he can, I think Markham's really going to be tough to beat in this series.
So keys to victory then. Joe's keys to victory: Samayo, be consistent. Remember to stay cohesive because, you know, Markham Just there's so many weapons, and don't change a thing, which is but it's a
cliche, but don't.
The cliche, don't change a thing. One of the most balanced teams in the league. Okay, we've got to get Whitby in. Whitby, the 7th seed, but you know what? Played really well down the stretch to get into the playoffs in a very, very tough division. Whitby impressions this year?
Yeah, I thought, we beat them earlier on, and since then, I don't know if they turned the corner. They made a couple deals. Scotty McCory's a good hockey guy as well. Danny Manella, who they brought in, I think, from BC at the start of this year, has really played well. I coached him in minor hockey. Nick Cork has played well.
Leading scorer this year,
Luke Kean, who we drafted with the Oshawa Generals, he's going, I believe, to Princeton next year. So
and he was on the NHL watch list for a good portion of the list. He had a great year.
They could be a dangerous team. I think they're tough on home ice, and I think they'll give Markham a run, but I just think Markham just has a little bit more in the tank.
A little bit more. So let's go to the keys for them. Stay out of the box. Lots of shots on Samayo, and be physical with Markham's forwards. And your prediction, and we're going to actually have to do a prediction for the other one, we forgot, but your prediction was Markham in 6, you think, is going to take it. And for the first one, the Trenton series, you picked Trenton actually in
5.
In 5 games.
I think Newmarket, could maybe steal one at home. Dalton Ewing, he stole a couple games for Newmarket this year, so you never know. But Newmarket, they're a hard-working team, and I think they can grab one.
It was interesting.
It's going to be tough.
Trenton went into a bit of a lull once they had those injuries. Lost more games than they had all year, but have really bounced back nicely and are going into the playoffs.
I think sometimes it's okay to lose.
Get it out of the way, as they say. They'll be going into the playoffs on a high. Anyway, we got to take a quick break. More on our playoff preview coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to the OJ Today. Alex Bastiavansky along with Mississauga Chargers head coach Joe Washkarak as we do our OJ playoff preview, previewing every series. And we're staying within the Northeast now. 2 more series to break down here. We start with Kingston, the 3 seed, going up against the Kohlberg Cougars, number 6. This is a fascinating series, Joe. Kohlberg actually won the season series 3-1, including a 10-2 thrashing back on September 13th. And Kingston goes into this series in a bit of a lull, having lost 5 straight. Your impressions of Kingston this year?
Started off a little bit slow, and then they really played well. But for a coach, I'm sure down there, Tareen White isn't happy that they've lost 5 straight. Whether they've sat guys out or not, I just don't think you like to lose that many games going into a playoff series. Yeah,
so going in a little bit cold, but some guys this year who stood out. Obviously, Anthony Ronaldo, 73 points in 52 games. He was one of the leading scorers in the OJ. Team captain Zachary Millifone, I really like this guy.
So do I.
He brings it. Recent union commits. He's going to be a Dutchman. The guy just does everything. Riche in goal. You guys played them. Your impressions of them?
They whacked us when we were down there. They have a good team, hard-working team. Can play it both ways. They can play tough if they want, and they have some skill. But, I just go back to the fact that I think Kohlberg has beat them twice in the last 2 weeks, Alex, and sometimes that plays on your mind. So, for Kingston, they just got to regroup here and just start fresh.
Last game, I believe, in the regular season, too, they lost to Kohlberg, which is an interesting one.
Yeah, sure is.
Keys to victory for Kingston. Joe's keys. Forget about the last 5 games. Try to shut it out of your mind. It's that mental aspect, right? Get the offense going again. They only scored 10 goals in their last 5 games, shockingly. And match Kohlberg's physicality, which we're going to get to in just a second about one of the things you like about Kohlberg.
Very tight checking.
So let's get into Kohlberg then. Kohlberg, the number 6 seed. Really finished off well this year to push. And remember, every team in the East qualified for the playoffs. Incredibly tough division, isn't it? What did you like about Kohlberg this year?
Oh, just, they're just a hard-working team, and they can play physical. They do have some guys that can score, but they don't score a lot. So they really have to defend. And, Stefan Durante and Tyler Lewis, I believe, they didn't go 50-50. I think Steph played a little bit more, and he's an extremely good goalie. He was goalie of the year last year in our league.
Played some fantastic saves this year.
He is. He's very athletic, and I think he's going to be a huge key to this series.
Brennan Roy, their leading scorer, 53 points in 53 games, a D-man. So very impressive.
You don't see that too often.
No, Sam Dunn on defense, played for Team Canada East. Keys for Kohlberg. We've got riding a hot streak going into the playoffs.
Keep it
up.
Yeah.
Shut down Ronaldo because when he doesn't score, you're saying.
I think Kingston's they just don't have a lot of secondary scoring. Jacob Hamlin and that he does, but there is trouble there.
And think D first since they don't score a ton. Okay, so Kohlberg. In 7 is your call on this one.
I predict an upset here. I just think that Kingston's a little bit limping in a little bit, and Kohlberg's been playing playoff hockey now for probably the last 3 weeks, Alex. And I just think that they're rolling, and that's my upset.
Right. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Wellington number 4 against Aurora number 5. Our next series, Wellington won the season series 4-0 over Aurora.
Surprising.
Surprising, but Wellington's you like Wellington. They're your dark horse to go all the way.
I really like them. My son Austin started off the year in Wellington. Marty runs a great program up there, and they have Luke Brown, who my opinion should be the MVP,
top scorer this year.
Going to Union, and they're they're disciplined. They have 4 good lines. They're tough to beat at home. They have a great crowd support up there, and I see them beating Aurora.
Ben Soke on forward as well,
absolutely.
64 points in 52 games. Another guy who played for Team Canada East this year. Big team. You mentioned their physicality. In Olivier Lafreniere, and that's a good year for him. And the power play and penalty kill, interesting. Power play, second best in the OJ at 24.4%. Penalty killing, second worst in the OJ at 76.8, so a big swing there.
Yeah, it's a massive swing. I'm sure Marty's probably working on that as we speak, but you don't see that too often, and there's no understanding for it. Like, they have great players. I really like Jacob Panetta, who's going to Kohlberg. He's a very underrated D in our league, but it's kind of surprising, but they keep scoring. So
keys for Wellington. So power play, keep it going. Second best in the OJ, as we said. Penalty kill, get it going. Second worst in the OJ. Okay. Let's see. Luke Brown needs to keep leading the way as well, as he has all year for them.
He's been a stud for them this year.
Okay. So Aurora, then the number 5 seed. Let's talk about the Tigers. Up and down year. I mean, they had flashes of brilliance at times. Other times, they've looked out of sorts. So your impressions of Aurora?
Yeah, I just think they've been inconsistent. The coaching change at the start of the year, I think, caught a lot of people off guard because I think they were doing pretty well. So, we only play those teams. We played Aurora twice, so it's tough to get an indication. Jim Thompson's a good hockey man, and NHLer, but they've been a little bit inconsistent. And with playoffs starting, everybody's going to start fresh. But I just think Wellington has a little bit more.
Drake Board, 55 points in 51 games. He is sweet player to watch. So much skill. Kyle Locke, a beast on defense for them. Former OHL second-round pick. We're going to get to him in a second, but he's sort of the best and the worst at times. But man, he's a guy that any team would love to have on their back line. And Josh Boyko kind of looks like he's taken over as a starter in goal. He's been
he's played well.
Fantastic to watch as well. Keys for Aurora. Joe's keys to victory. Stop Luke Brown. That's a pretty obvious one.
Easy.
The OJ's leading scorer this year.
You have to shut him down.
Keep Locke under control. Now, put the lock on Locke, so to speak. But Kyle Locke has been, he's an absolute beast out there, but he also had 134 penalty minutes. So they need to try to make sure that they've got the best of him, but also keep things under control.
Kyle plays in that gray area, as we say. And,
in the playoffs, you got to keep it under control. And finally, stay out of the box because of that Wellington awesome power play, as mentioned, 24 point. There we go. So anyway, so it's things that Aurora is going to have to do, but your pick is, as I said, Wellington's your dark horse. You've got them in 6 games. You think Wellington's going to just a little bit too much?
Just a little bit too much. I think a little bit more deeper, and I just think that just Aurora's just inconsistency. Sometimes you just can't turn it on and off.
Okay, well, that's the Northeast. When we come back, we've got the Southwest Conference for you. More OJ Today coming up in just a second. Welcome back to the OJ. Today we continue with our playoff preview show. Myself and Joe Washcrack, head coach of the Mississauga Chargers. We move on now to the Southwest Conference and the opening series between the number 1 seed Georgetown Raiders and number 8 the Orangeville Flyers. Georgetown, well, they won the season series 4-0. They took care of Orangeville this year. There's no other way of putting it. Although the last game was a 5-4 overtime win against Georgetown on the 27th. Georgetown this season, impressions, you really like what you saw?
Yeah, we played them 5 times, and we really just had a hard time with them. Their speed just kills, and speed kills, and you know, they got very good defensemen, and Andrew Masters has had an unreal year as well. They're a tough team, and Greg Walters is a great coach there.
Well, you're also really impressed with what he was able to do this year because it's such a young team, probably the youngest team in the league, and they're about a year ahead of schedule where they thought they would be.
Yeah,
right? So
for sure. Like you know, we played him even in exhibition, and we had some decent games with him, but they just seemed to pull away. He's a great coach, and they're well structured, and they just have a lot of speed, and it's tough to catch those guys.
Yeah. Some standouts. Jack Chacombe. What else can you say about this guy? Might be the rookie of the year. I mean, it's tough to argue against him. I think he finished 6th in league scoring.
Should be.
It's a 98th birthday. Unbelievable for them. Josh Dickinson played for Canada East, along with Matt Cairns on defense, one of the best defensive cores in the league.
Stud.
Picked up Ryan Takamatsu from North York down the stretch.
Great deal.
Really a good team.
Just a very good team right from the goal crease out.
Yeah. Masters, you mentioned a goal, of course, as well. Keys for Georgetown. Joe's keys. Just play. Don't think. Don't think about the experience, right? Just go out there and play. They've had fun all year. No pressure. Just go out and play. There's the mental aspect, though, if you can do it. I mean, stay within their system. You think they've got one of the best structures in the league.
Yes, absolutely.
And use that speed because they're one of the fastest teams in the league as well.
If not the.
If not the. Okay, so the Orangeville Flyers. First of all, let's just say what they've done the last 2 years under GM Dana Baker and head coach Jamie Caruso has been absolutely phenomenal. They turned around a team that was, well, they were dead last, and they've done a great job. Your impressions of Orangeville this year?
Yeah, they've started off well. They kind of followed in from last year. The last little while, though, I've watched them play a little bit and stuff, and I think they've won 2 of their last 10, Alex.
2 of their last 10,
and that's like kind of like Kingston limping in, and they haven't
and against a team like Georgetown,
they haven't played very well lately. But maybe giving them a little confidence in that overtime loss on Saturday night.
Some standouts for them. Team captain Derek Topatich on defense has been great to watch this year. He played for Team Canada East. Lucas Smilski was their leading scorer, 62 points in 54 games. Latinovich was great for most of the season in goal. Faded a little bit down the stretch, though, didn't he? So,
he was on Team Canada East too. He
was on Team Canada East,
But goaltending's a funny thing. It's a lot about confidence, and he's just maybe going through a bit of a rough time, and getting Baden-Horst off Barry, pushing him a little bit, and now he seems to be playing a little bit more. Right. So I think they have 2 good goalies, and they have a very tough decision to make. I believe who plays Game 1, Alex.
Which leads us into Joe's keys to victory. And number 1 is who's in goal. Baden-Horst or Latinovich. Who are they going to ride? Contain that high-powered Georgetown offense. Also, be physical, because Georgetown, although they're very fast, they are a small team. So physicality important for Orangeville. Okay, and your prediction, you think Georgetown in 5?
Yeah. I think Orangeville, could, not. I don't want to see steal one because they are well coached. Jamie does a great job, and playoffs are different, but I think they can get one. But to beat Georgetown 4-7, they haven't lost 4-7 all year. It's going to be very tough.
It's going to be tough. Okay, so Oakville 2 seed against St. Mike's number 7. Season series was tied 2-2. Your impressions of the Blades this year, who were a juggernaut on offense?
Just offense. Like, I think Mike Tarantino, we've coached before, and it's a great coach. But I think in the league they have the top 6 forwards. Their 2 top lines are the best in the league, and
Rollo, Kosak, Rajic, Garvey. It just goes on and on and on.
It's tough to defend against those guys, and they're skilled, and they do play in their own zone very well as well.
3rd overall in goals scored with 231 goals on the season.
Not surprised.
No, not at all, of course. 178 goals allowed, a little on the high side for playoff teams. So they're going to have to watch that. McGlynn in goal along with Michael Botiz as well, going back and forth. Kudla on defense, the highest scoring D-man in the league this year, was absolutely incredible. Now, from an offensive standpoint, he's converted forward, so he's still learning the nuances of the defensive game.
But I'm sure Mike would like. I would think that Patrick's been told to merely concentrate on playing a little bit more on his own.
Okay, so he's been great to watch. We need to get to St. Mike's in a sec, but keys to Oakville, pay as much attention to defense as they do to the offense. Take advantage of your Olympic-sized rink at home,
the only one in the league.
Huge, huge home ice advantage for them. And stay out of the box. Their PK was 15th in the league at only 80%. St. Michael's, the Majors. What a great organization over the years. They've been world famous St. Mike's, great tradition. Noah Jordan, Thomas Beretta, Cameron Wright, some of the leaders this year, your impression?
Yeah, I think they started off fairly slow. They have a very young team. I think they only have 295s, Menelescu and Barnes, and and they just kind of pulled away, and they actually passed Orangeville at the end, and we just played them the other night, and 4 good lines. Rich Ritchie's a very good coach.
You say you think you're one of their most improved team this year, possibly?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, bar none.
From the beginning of the season to the end.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in their rank, compared to Oakville's rank, it's a bandbox in there. So it's it's going to be tough, but they play a gritty game, and they're well coached.
Yeah. 4 lines. You love hardworking, 200-foot team. Keys for St. Mike's: adapt to the large ice surface in Oakville, because speed is not their strength.
No.
On the same note, take advantage of the small surface at home. Defensive first mentality against that powerful Oakville team who can, if they catch you napping, they'll pop 2 or 3 on you very, very quickly. And your prediction, Oakville in 5, just quickly on that. We got 30 seconds. Why do you think Oakville in 5?
They got 7 D1 commitments right now. I just think they just have too much offense, and St. Mike's is a very young team. So I just think they're just going to be a little bit too much for them.
Just a little bit too much.
And the home ice advantage is huge.
And the home ice advantage, that Olympic-sized rink, if they use the speed to their advantage, and that's,
St. Mike's is kind of built for their rink because they play half their games there.
Teams normally do.
They have some good speed as well, but Oakville's pretty special at home.
Okay, we got to take a quick break. More Southwest Conference when we come back in just a moment. Welcome back to the OJ. Today, Alex Bastiavansky with Mississauga Chargers head coach Joe Washkarak. Our last segment of the year, continuing with the Southwest Conference for our playoff preview. And we've got number 3 Burlington up against number 6, the Toronto Junior Canadians. Burlington won the season series 4-0.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Actually, your impressions of Burlington this year?
Well, I'm biased with my son playing there right now.
It's certainly Austin Washkarak playing goal for Burlington.
High-powered offense. I think they had most goals in the league.
249 goals, most in the league,
Got a great set of forwards, great defense, a lot of offensive defensemen. One thing that Mark Juris, who's done an amazing job there. I just find watching their games that they just give up too many odd man rushes, and they're going to have to tighten their D a little bit. They've given up a lot of goals coming in. Like for a playoff team, I think they're the highest goals against right now, or close to it, Alex.
Somewhere in my notes I have it. I believe that's so,
It's up there. So.
And you mentioned you think Mark Juris should probably be coach of the year. So that's
hands down.
They last year only won 11 games. So Jordan Peacock's an absolute beast for them, along with Nathan Gomes, who both played for Caledonia and won the Sutherland Cup last year.
So they know how to win.
So they know how to win. David Thompson, leading scorer. Willie Paul on defense, great. Keys to victory for Burlington. For you, keep on scoring. 249 goals, as we mentioned. Power play, keep on clicking. They were first in the league at 25.39%.
Which is huge. Like that's massive.
Tightened up defensively. Sorry, you're right. 174 goals allowed. One of the highest among playoff teams. The Junior Canadians. Taylor Beck, Nick City, Nicholas Jarzabek, Michael Siddall, some of the key players. A few of those acquired in a trade at the end of the season. Your impressions of the JRCs this year?
You talk about those 4 guys are very good hockey players. I know in their last game they had a little bit of a situation with Pickering, and I think they lose Alberga and David Zipparelli, who I really like. And I don't know what happened there, but I think Alberga's got 4 games and Zipparelli has 3. I think that's going to hurt those guys.
Huge. I think in the very last game of the season.
I think so too. So, it's going to be tough. And Daniel LaPapa, who is a very good goalie, does have he's hurt, and I get the feeling he's not coming back for another couple weeks of what I've told. And Brendan Bonnell is a 99, who is a good.
Who you really like?
I do like him.
He is a 99,
but,
right? So
it's tough to play in the playoffs at that age.
So keys to victory then for the JRCs. Bonello. Playing older than his birthday. In other words, we were laughing and saying playing not to what's on his birth certificate.
That's right. Don't look at it.
Don't look at it. Stay out of the box because Burlington's got that #1 power play in the league. And pucks in deep because Burlington is susceptible to giving up goals, and they do not like the odd man rush, as you've mentioned as well. So your prediction, Burlington in 6, though?
Yeah, I think with the suspensions, I think that's going to hurt him a little bit. Mark's done a great job there. Don't discount Mario Chiquillo. He's a very good coach.
He's a great coach,
But I just think they just have a little bit more up front.
Buffalo, #4 against North York, #5 is our last series to review. Buffalo won the season series 4-0, which surprises you a little bit. But
yeah,
you really like Buffalo, though.
You know what? They're a really good team. You know, they've done Mike Pekka and John Tucker have done a great job there.
Yeah.
You know, Evan Orancho is a very good player. And Tucker Wetner, and that's going to Canisius, I believe. They have a very well-balanced team. No question about it.
Well, Levancho, as you mentioned, so second in overall league scoring with 80 points in 52 games.
Yeah, that's good.
Tucker Wepner in goal.
Good.
Really good. And as you mentioned as well to me before we just off camera was a very skilled team, but they can play it rough too.
Well, I think they have the most penalty minutes in the whole entire league. Yeah. So they can play it both, and you know, when you're taking that many penalty minutes, discipline in the playoffs is key in any type of league. So I think if they stay out of the box, they'll be fine. But if not, I think they're going to have trouble with North York.
Which leads us into a good segue. Our keys to victory for Buffalo. Evancho, lead the way. Continue to lead. Stay disciplined. 1207 PIMS. Highest in the league. And hold the fort with, by the way, head coach John Tucker gone for the first game.
That's huge.
So hold the fort with Tucker gone for that one game. North York, since the deadline, they've been fantastic.
Very, very impressive. Brent Hughes has made some, him and Claude Desjardins has made some very good moves at the deadline, getting Sekelic and
Sekelic has been almost 2 points per game.
Bringing in Tyler Curry earlier and Sean Tessier and Mike Morgan's played well, and you know I'm very impressed by that team in the last month here.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Sekelic almost 2 points per game since being acquired. They've got a lot of really good kids on this team too. They've got Campoli, draft pick of the Saginaw Spirit,
real good young player.
Graydon Gottschalk, who's going to go to Moncton next year. Fantastic team. So keys to victory for North York. Let Buffalo take the penalties. There's a 500-minute penalty discrepancy between the two teams.
That's a lot.
Use size to slow down that Sabres skill and be wary of refereeing in Buffalo. If you could quickly, 10-second comment.
I don't want to get myself in too much trouble, but Buffalo plays half their games at home, and they lead the league in penalty minutes. And I've always had trouble, honestly, Alex, all kidding aside, with the referees there.
So
but I don't want to go in too much into it.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. And your prediction, North York and Sam?
I just think that they've played. They're on a roll, and Brent has them going well. And I just think that it's one of my upsets there.
We're out of breath, but that's all our series, buddy. So thank you for being here, man.
Thanks very much.
Fantastic giving us your expertise. And you know what? That's it for us. Last show of the year. Before we go, I want to say a massive thank you to a few people. To my technical producer extraordinaire, Asim Manji, and cameraman extraordinaire, Todd Later, who helped make this happen each week here in the Rogers studio. And also, we were lucky, very lucky, to get contributions from videographers from so many different teams this year, which really was essential to bringing you a variety of game highlights each week. Their names come up on the screen in the credits, so for anyone looking to have games filmed, these guys are all top-notch, seriously. And I do want to say a very special thanks to Steve Mitchell at Genmark Digital Media and announcer Joe Montezano. These guys sent me highlights every single week and many times multiple games each week, so thanks, guys. And finally, thank you, the viewers, for tuning in. Remember, you can stay up to date with the playoffs every step of the way by going to ojhl.ca. You can head to Twitter also at OJHLofficial, and of course at facebook.com/OJHLofficial. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks, and we'll see you next season.